Okay, so you've found your resources and it's time to do the dreaded task of assembling your reference guide. To find out the details on how to set up your reference guide, you need to go to the Deakin Sync page and click on the one that says Studying. Under that one there, it will say Referencing down here amongst the options. Clicking on that one will bring up a couple of things, the Deakin Guide to Referencing or Harvard Referencing. If we click on our Harvard Referencing, what will happen then is you'll be given a window. I like to just click on that one rather than using that one. I click on that and make it a new tab. And this is the Deakin Harvard Reference Guide that you will need to pay attention to when you're creating your reference list. In the past, we've often given this out and then you can actually go there and print it out if you like. I like to use it online and hopefully will become apparent as I go through. There's two elements to it. There's in-text citations. Not going to look at that today. We'll look at that one in a future seminar, probably next week. And the other part is creating your reference list at the end, giving full biographical details and so forth. So I'm not going to click on this one, but I am going to click on the plus sign that's over here because that'll open up information about how to compile your reference list. Now, as you can see there, you've got to put in the full biographical details according to the source type, and it changes from whether it's journals, books, websites, whatever. Each of them have got their own specific way of doing it, which becomes a pain after a while. As you start off, it's going to take a lot of trying to figure out, but by the time you finish off, when you're done with university, you will be so quick at doing this that you'll go bang, 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 bang. You've got to make certain, now this doesn't really relate to us this time, but next task it will. And this one here says that every time you cite something, you have to include the author details, the bibliography details in your reference list. But even if you've read the book, journal or whatever, and you've relied on it lots, but you haven't cited that particular piece of work, do not put those details in your reference list. Okay, so in other words, your reference list must match your citations and your citations must match your reference list. But that's for AST2 and subsequent work. Just as a point of interest, you don't have to include citations in your summary in the table. Okay, please don't do that. Not required. Now, you have to make certain that all of the resources are listed in order of the family name of the author and then by the name of the authoring organisation. So family names. Okay. If you can't do that, it's the title. You only have to do it once, and commas are important rather than full stops, and there's no full stops after the initials. That's really important too. You'll find out later. And a couple more other bits and pieces and that sort of stuff in there too. And then it gives you an example, a rather extensive little example of a reference list. We want to close that one down. We simply just hit the plus sign and it goes down. Now, if there's a group author, you do that. If there's no authors, here's how you do it. And so on and so on and so on. Multiple authors of a single work. It's really, really interesting. So you can see here, no full stops in between names and things, spaces and commas and so on. So really important that you remember that set of principles. Now, the rest of the guide is taken up and organised under various headings, various types. So there's books, there's periodicals, which means journals and other bits and pieces. There's images, which we haven't done anything of this time. There's web or web pages or your audio visual, maybe movies and other bits and pieces. And then there's other sources, which can be a whole range of different things. But for most of us this time, we're going to be doing books and journals. Now, because we can't access the library, it's closed, we can't get there, most of us are going to be doing e-books. So you can see here, there are a range of different ways to reference these. One is if you've got a URL. Another one is if it comes from a database and you don't have a URL. Another one is if you've used a device such as a Kindle or something. Most of you are not going to be doing that one. And the last one is if it has a DOI. Now, I'm going to strongly suggest that you get used to using DOI and understanding what DOI is. DOI is a digital object identifier. It's a number that sticks with that particular resource. You can see the DOI down here, but this one is an extensively long thing. But the DOI, if you can find, then means that you don't have to add a number of other details, such as maybe the date retrieved, or maybe a database, or other things. So DOIs, if you can find resources that have DOIs, it's always simpler, cleaner, and a much better way of providing the detail in your reference list. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to presume that we've got one that's a resource where we know the publisher and that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that and that. I'm going to copy that for a reason, and this is one of my reasons for using the online version, because if I copy that then and come in here to my sample reference list, I'm going to paste that in there. And what it does for me here, it tells me this is what the details that I have to have in there, and this is what it's going to look like. And I can see there, you know, where we have got spaces, commas, and other bits and pieces, and which ones are in italics and which ones are in normal text, and how things have to go, and if there's a full stop there at the end, and so on and so on and so on. So if I go back in here now, I'm going to close that one down, and for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go and get a print journal. Print journals, e-journals, journal articles are all pretty much the same. So I'm going to do that one there, and there's my reference list there. And I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to throw that one into this document too. And the reason for doing that in a minute will become apparent. Now, let's go into the library. And I've done a search here very quickly on on Facebook and fake news. And I'm going to take this one here for no other reason that it's on the top. I should read the abstract, and of course it says everything I want to, and it's absolutely perfect. But if I come over here, I can see there's a little button that says Cite. When I click on that one, it gives me, oh, look at that, all of the reference list details that I need, which are fantastic, plus a whole lot of other ones. But if you look at that, even though it says Harvard Australian and Harvard, I'm going to just copy that one there. I'm going to take it over, and remembering this is a journal, I'll come up here to my journal here, and I'm going to paste that in there. If you look here, I'm going to compare this one here with this one there, and I find actually I should have gone in there, and I've got 1 to 3 authors. I should have grabbed one of those, shouldn't I? So let me just grab one of those and put it in there, because this one's got multiple authors too, hasn't it? So if I look at this one and compare it with this one, straight away you can see that these ones here really should be in lowercase. Okay, it's got pretty much everything else is pretty good. It's got this title done like that. The title's done like that, good. It's got my journal done beautifully, but hang on, I've got some information there that I don't really need, so I take that one out, make that go to there, and then we want vol and a full stop, pages, it's got that perfectly, and this one here had a DOI, but this one doesn't. It hasn't got a DOI, so I have to have, so it's got to be something like that one. So I need to go back in there, copy that, drop that one in there in exchange for the other one. Okay, so it needs to, then we come and look at that. We presume everything else is right up until we got to there. Oh, look at that. It says viewed, and the real one we want retrieved. So we have to go and change that. (31 March 2020), that's in the same order. and then it says we want a database. And if you can see down here with this one here, it's told you the database there. Notice it's got a link. I do not want to see that link. I want to see it, a database there. We'll simply copy that and paste it over that one. Sorry, I'll better go and do that. Or just and there's my reference list entry. Perfect. So then I can get rid of all that and do that. And I can then do the same with my ebook. If I go in here in my results and go back and find an ebook, source types, go there, books. So again, we'll just take the very quick one. Now we'll take the second one. We'll do that one there. We go with the citation. We look for Harvard or Harvard Australian, and it sometimes varies. This one's got a DOI, so let's use that one this time. Copy that one, go back here, drop it in under there, go through, and we check out. You can see there's author things in there that we don't need. There's the dates in the wrong format. The title is perfect. The publisher is perfect, and it's got a DOI, so that's going to be really, really good. Now for assessment task 1, or maybe for some other tasks, you are going to be using Google Scholar to find stuff. So you'll need to know how to reference that because it's a little bit trickier. So let's just say we go into Google Scholar there and we click on to our advanced search and we do our normal Facebook and fake news with the exact phrase and go searching, and we come up with this. Now notice that down here it's telling us that this is where the stuff is stored and that sort of stuff. Now, if we were on a Deakin machine, what we might find is underneath each of these things here, it would tell us if it's available in the Deakin library, and that's obviously the best place to go. So, but we can do that. We can actually manipulate our machine if we're working off campus and that. And if we go to our settings and we go to library links, and it brings up this little pane here where we can just type in the word Deakin, and it says, okay, so you might want to be looking for the Deakin library, find it at Deakin. So if we click on that one there, the option that says Deakin University Library, find it at Deakin, and we save that, then notice down here now it says, okay, these ones here are actually available at Deakin. So if we click on that one and open it in a new tab there, what it's going to do, it's going to go off and find it in the Deakin library. And that's where we can go and grab it, and then we can go and get the details from it there. But I'm just going to go back in here, just imagining that we haven't actually got one that's got find it at Deakin, such as this one here. So our natural inclination is to go in here and then click on the citation button, and you can see here that there is a Harvard one. But if we click on that Harvard one and copy it, and we go back to our sample here and we paste it in under our journal, we're going to find that it is missing a significant amount of information. So we may well have to, unfortunately, go in there and find out those details, and we may have to go searching through some of the information and transfer it over. So it's Laura Spinney, the date of it is there, and so on and so on and so on. So you can see it's a little bit, whilst it might be a really, really interesting article and everything else, it may be not quite what we want. But hang on, when we scroll down the bottom, look at that. We've got a DOI. So if we copy that one and we go back in here to our thing, to our entry here, we can go and put that in the end and go DOI, and that saves us a whole range of things, because then we don't have to put in date retrieved and other bits and pieces, and it's all of a sudden making things just that little bit easier. So we're going to go in there and we have to take those out because our sample one up here says it's going to be like that. There's a full stop there. We've got to turn into a comma. Our title, this one, I'm not quite certain whether it's a journal or what, because it looks like actually it's just a page out of the Nature magazine. Even though it says journal, we might have to put in there other things and so on. It really does get a bit messy. So that's why we continue to encourage you to go looking through the Deakin Library. So our next step is, of course, once we've got all of that, is to go in and take out the bits and pieces, our samples, and make certain that they're all arranged alphabetically. Okay, hopefully that helps when you're compiling your reference list. Thanks for watching.